Hi, and welcome to our Facebook Live Come Crafting with Jill and Jez. I'm Jez.
And I'm Jill.
And we do a live crafting session on the first Saturday of every month in our Facebook group. So if you would like to join us live on our group, then pop over to Facebook and join us. Come Crafting with Jill and Jez. I made this card literally this morning. I knew I wanted to do, I'm going to do alcohol and vellum technique. I'm a bit late to the party. I did have a go a while back. I've got this 70% rubbing alcohol. I've had this years. I bought it for a reason. I can't quite remember why I bought it. Anyway, I use it now to clean. Doesn't work with 70%. You need at least 90%. This is 99.9%. So this is a much bigger bottle than this one. I got it off Amazon. It was about £7. So I'm going to do a lot of this because look, I've got a litre of it. But I'll also use it for cleaning and things. Might see what it's like in Coke. So leaves and well, mine's just leaves. I haven't done the trees. And I'm going to recreate this. Okay, but the fun bit, I've done all the die cutting because the fun bit is the alcohol bit. So I've got a bit of a craft mat there. I've got lots of colours, and I haven't got all the colour blends, so I didn't have all the colours that I really wanted, but I'm just sort of going to go with the flow. I tried several ways of doing this, but I kind of, you know, some people do it and they cover the whole sheet without any gaps, but I kind of went a little bit different. So I'm just dotting around some colours. So I have got Old Olive, Mossy Meadow, Mint Macaron and Early Espresso, not Early Espresso, Shady Spruce. Don't know why I said Early Espresso when it was Shady Spruce. So I'm going to chuck a load of greens around.
And Anthony's saying he's not usually a messy crafter, but we'll have to make an excuse for both our projects today.
Yeah. Well, this isn't too messy. It doesn't, you know, like Jill's one does get on your hands, but this one tends not to. I've got the bronzer here, so I'm adding in a bit of brown, so I do want it to be autumnal. And I've got some crumb cake. And I say, I'm doing it, some people do it with lots of big patterns, you know, big blocks of colours. Don't know what's happened. Look at the state of that nib. Still works. When I colour, I use the other end, so it don't really matter. So for just putting colour down, this is all right.
That's really damaged that nib, isn't it?
I know. I don't know what I did.
No.
So I've poured my alcohol here into a little glass ramekin. You get these. You get a free chocolate pudding with every glass ramekin. I've got a little paintbrush. This is the way I liked it. I put some in a spritzer, and the first time I did it, I spritzed it, and it just ended up being a splodgy mess. Didn't like the result at all. So
okay,
going for this. So I'm just dotting it on my colours. And
did it move on its own?
Yeah, it just moves on its own.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Ali was saying the 70% stuff is good for removing stains from clothing.
Yeah, it's good for moving glue from your craft desk, cleaning your blocks. I haven't tried it on stains from clothes. That's a good idea. So yeah, you get these little splodges, and then I kind of blasted it a bit with my heat gun. and then I'm going to go back in with some more colour. This is my way that I found that I liked it. I wanted a little bit more control over the colouring of it. So
Ali is saying she drops her alcohol on with the pipette.
yeah, and I do have a pipette somewhere. Can I find it? No. I sat and
But
thought,
you tidied your craft room.
yeah, can't find a thing. So now I'm going to add some red in here where there's some gaps, because you don't quite know where it's all going to stretch to. So I'm going to put some red in there to add to
nice
that
combination of colours.
That little well, it is down to that's what I've got. So I ain't got much choice. And so I do eventually kind of fill the space, but with, you know, lots of little colours as opposed to one big splodge. I do quite like the effect of having big blocks of colours, but that's not what I wanted to do today. That wasn't what was in my head that I wanted to create.
Emma Chellingworth has just commented, Jez with a tidy craft room.
Yeah, I know. I did have one for about 3 days during lockdown 1, and I was going to do a craft room tour, but by the time I got round to doing a craft room tour, it was a mess again. It was probably about 2 hours later. So yeah, it didn't happen. So I'm going to try that again.
Anthony's saying, never thought he'd heard Jez and tidy craft room in the same sentence.
So we've got that. And then one thing you can do then, so although that's now dry, you can still reactivate that ink.
Yeah.
And one of the things it's quite good to do is just little dots, and then they move around and create another effect. Don't know if that's being picked up there on the camera. One thing you've got to be careful about is making it too muddy.
Yeah.
You know, it is possible to do that. I'm just looking around on my desk for some of my, where did I put me? Oh yeah, so these are some of my practices. So I'm doing, actually that's almost identical, isn't it? That was with much bigger colours, big blocks of, so I just did lots of big blocks of the
really
purples.
pretty background.
That is pretty. It's not, you might notice there's like little diamonds in that. That's not our vellum. I was just having a practice.
Yeah.
And then I had a go on the shimmer vellum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which quite liked that. So I did it on the back side of it.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like from the other side. So yeah, that's where we went with that. So I could do more. I could call it a day. I think I'm going to call it a day because the time's getting on in it.
Good. Yeah.
Right, so I've done everything else now in preparation. Let's move all these away. Don't need them. There we go. So I have used in this card, I've made my frame using stitch frames. I used the very biggest for the outside, and I went 1, 2, 3. I went 4 down, didn't I? To get, I missed 2, and then so I got a thick frame. And excellent. I'm off camera, aren't I? And the reason why I did that, so we got a nice big space to add some glue to the vellum, so you can't see it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did for that. I used the small one for my thanks. I've done 2 colours because I'm not quite sure which colourway. So I stamped the thanks from Ornate thanks. And it's a bit too big, so I cut it out and then I cut the end off. So that's how I got that. And then I have die cut the leaves from the intricate leaves and stamped the gorgeous leaves. So, oh, and I used, this is where I got the tree bit in. I got the, so I've used this wood grain.
Oh yeah.
Because that comes from a tree, doesn't it? So that's...
The leaves come from a tree
I know
too.
they do. I know they do. But yeah, so that was my logic. Okay, so we've got so I've got a thick whisper white card base, and I've cut it to 5.5 tall because that mats better with the stitch rectangles. So it's 8.25, 8.25 scored in half to be 8.125. So it's not as wide as letter size, but it still works really well. Now this one, I stuck it to a bit of white cardstock first, and then I realised, you numpty, you could just adhere it to the back of the card. So that's what I'm doing with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that down to, I think, 5 inches. How wide's this? That way, Burke. Yeah, because this is just over 5 inches. So I thought I'll trim it down to 5 inches. I'm going to take a bit off the top and a bit off the bottom. So take that off. Go to 5 inches, and then it's 3 3/4 the other way. And then that will fit on the back of the card quite nicely. Okay.
Really pretty background,
Isn't it? And it's like magic when you're watching it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, quite like what that's doing. So what I've got to decide is what colour frame I'm going for. So I have done that one in cinnamon cider, or I can do it in early espresso again. There's a bit of me that wants to go lighter with this one so we can see a different. I am going to go lighter. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the cinnamon cider looks good.
Yeah, we'll go lighter with this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I did with this one is I stuck it to the card first, but then I thought, well, I can just stick it to the back of the frame. I might just trim a little bit off that side, actually. It's a little bit too big, isn't it? Let me bring it in. Let me just, I think I did this in practice as well. So it's just slightly shy of that wide. Let's have a little bit more off. What you've got to be careful of is sometimes it ends up curling. That one ended up curling.
Yeah.
This was the one that I did originally with the 70% and it didn't work. It did not move anywhere. But
that's interesting, isn't it?
And that was weeks ago. And then I added the 99% that I've bought, and it worked. It started moving around. So it was like, oh, okay. Even though it'd been sat there for weeks and weeks and weeks. Right, now which one's the right side and which one's the wrong side? That's the wrong side. So I'm just gonna put my stamp and seal. Ooh. This is ordinary stamp and seal, but it's still really sticky.
Yeah, it is.
That's my finger. So sticking that down. So there we go. That works a treat, doesn't it? And what I'm going to do is work out where it's going to go on the card. And I might put a little blob in the centre there where you're not going to see it.
Yeah. Just to hold so it doesn't bubble up.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Well, that one's been stuck to white cardstock. And so now I can go around the whole of this frame with my Tombow. I can take my silicone brush, give it a squidge. I wasn't going to do that, but you used yours, so I thought I would.
Well, I had to. Someone bought it for me.
I did notice you on the other day, you did a video and you were using a cocktail stick, and I'm like, yeah. I brought you a brush. Why are you using a cocktail stick? But then I thought you might have actually filmed that one before.
Yeah, I probably hadn't unpacked it at that stage.
Well, yeah, there is that as well. So that's that down. So now we just need a cluster of leaves. So I die cut shed loads. And because, well, I die cut a load for a different project that I made. So little, you might have seen it, my little mini album. So I die cut loads of leaves for this. And so I had loads left over, but I did do a couple of extra. So I kind of...
Anthony's saying the silicone brush for Tombow is the carpenter technique, or carpenter method, and the toothpick for Tombow is the Chapman method.
Yeah. Right. Thought I'd... Oh, there's my green one. I love Merry Merlot. I don't want two Merry Merlots together. So then it's just about deciding on your little cluster.
Looks good.
So that'll do. So now we just got to stick that all down.
Did you glue them all down or use dimensionals on some of them?
No, they're all just glued. I just used a dimensional on, you can't see, I've just realised. I just used a dimensional on that side.
Yeah.
Because when these are all piled up,
yeah,
they're actually, it then box it up.
Yeah.
Sugar and spice and all things not how you wanted it to go. Dry baby wipe. And I got it overlapping the frame a bit because I just quite liked how that looked. I liked the mixture of die cut and stamped. Just wish I'd had Merry Merlot instead of like the real red. This one was a bit muddier.
They look like bigger patches you've done on that one.
Yeah. That one, what I did with that one was I spritched the entire thing to begin with. Yeah. And then I went back over it with smaller bits. So, yeah, that's why that one's like that. Where's my pick a tool? There we go. So it was doing the little album, because so they kind of went with the colours in that Beauty of the Earth paper that I started using me Merry Merlot again. Forgotten how much I like it. Just stick that on there for now. trying to be random.
That's nice. Nice little cluster of leaves.
Yeah. Trying to capture autumn or fall. Okay, and then what I did was I put a dimensional just on the outside. And I put glue on this side because this is now a bit raised, and I kind of did it to cover up where all the stems meet.
Yeah. A very full autumnal card indeed, says Anthony.
Yeah, cool. Full autumnal. So that's my cards.
Excellent. Excellent.
2 different colours. And the alcohol technique. So I just,
I'll have to give it a go.
It gives a different sort of look. What I also did, keen-eyed might notice, that I embossed that vellum as well with the same wood grain.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it particularly added anything to it. So, yeah, there we go. I'll come back up.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice colours. Yeah. People are saying nice colours.
Super.
Thank you for watching. Now, why don't you go, there's a link down below and you can pop across and see what Jill has made during the live as well. And why don't you join us on our Facebook group next time? Okay, bye for now.
Bye.